for the Ultimate SG Build Workshop. So I have to make sure my phone is off too before we are ready to go here. So are you in a spot where you can read comments and such? Can you turn your volume down a little bit? There you go. Okay. Okay. Hi, Sean. Terry. Dan, Dave, Eric, I know Doc is here. Yeah, so Doc says, oh, it is indeed live. Yes, it is. Now, let me tell you guys, well, let's just go ahead and get started. Today's video is a live video because I had a workshop all last week. And you know how it is? Like when I'm doing class stuff, I don't exactly have time to film a bunch of video things and do any deep diving or any of that stuff. And but I wanted to do a video today, but I didn't have anything, and I didn't want to like rush over here and try to figure out what to do one on. So Joy said, why don't you just do a video where you answer some viewer questions? And I said, that's a good idea. And she said, you could talk about Dylan's Teimu guitar. I said, that's a good idea. And I wanted to do some more on the my Super Strat, but it's not done yet because I don't know if you guys remember, but I ordered a piece for it. It hasn't come yet. It's supposed to be here tomorrow. So anyway, but I wanted to answer a couple of questions that I've been getting a lot lately. One of them is, this isn't really going to be an answer, okay? But a lot of you guys have inquired about what are the extra tools that you get with the Fractal Fret Press. And this is how mine came. No extras. There's no little like chopstick kind of things. So Tom sent me a text and he's like, hey, what are these? And I'm like, I have no idea what those are. And so then he looked up on the, I think he called Jay and said, what are these things? Or maybe Stu Mac, I'm not sure. And apparently it's some way to manipulate the tool when you're using the squeeze press thing. And so I, like a smart aleck, I'm like, well, why'd you ask me then, Tom? But so yeah, I have no idea what they're for, but my Fractal Fret presses, like I said, when they came, they were just these guys in a box from Jay. And so I have no idea what that other stuff is because I didn't get other stuff. I take that back. I did get some other things. It is not unheard of to get like some little washers or something, like in case you need to modify your fret press or something like that. But yeah, it's that's probably what those are. Somebody else asked me, do you see any wear on the brass calls? Yeah, you do, because brass is fairly soft. In the world of metals, brass is fairly soft. And so that's a sacrificial item. So you get, you can get some other ones of those, or you can buy another one or something like that. So anyway, yeah, but I still very much am very into the Fractal Fret Press. This one here is the one that clamps into the Stu Mac one. Provided you have enough height on your press, is still my favorite. This guy, though, still works. I actually found another one of these. I have like 5 of these now, or 6 of these. This is the new one with the with, I don't know if you can see it, with the steel insert, but I've got so many of these Fractal Fret presses that, and I found another one. They're multiplying. So yeah. So anyway, gang, I want to talk with you about some. If you have any questions, we can do those today too. Or if you have any any stuff like that you want to just ask me about. Joy wants me to remind you that t-shirts have been a big issue lately. And if you have ordered from Spring lately, it's taken them, gosh, like 3 or 4 or 5 months, or you haven't gotten them yet or something. So we are going to, I think that on the, do you know if on the YouTube there's still a link to the Spring one? I think on YouTube there. Okay, so all right, so gang, here's what we're doing. On the website, texastoastguitars.com, there is a new merch page, and you just click on the shirt from there. Now, we're not using Spring, we're using some other outfit. The important thing to remember is I don't have the shirts or the mugs or the hats or the bandanas or whatever it is that we have up there here in the shop. Those are done for us by a third party, and they will drop ship directly to you. But you can use exactly all the other stuff that you do on the website. So like, for example, if you buy a guitar and you go, hey, I want to get a shirt too. That's the sound of you ordering a shirt. You could do it all in one bill. You know what I mean? Or if you want to get a candle, there's new candles too, by the way. Jay hasn't bought them all yet, but he's fixing to. So anyway, you can buy merch direct from the TexasToastGuitars.com on the website. And do you know the name of the outfit that we're using now? No, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because it's going right through us, but it looks like it's 10 days is what we're anticipating for new shirt orders. And we apologize for any of the late stuff from Spring. You know, I remember Spring used to be very good for us, and now I don't know what happened, but we're starting to see that it's not exactly great. So, the other thing is not every single design is on the new merch page. It seemed more important to just get some stuff up there rather than worry about every single solitary design. There's some new designs that weren't on the Spring one. So Dan, if you wanted one of those shirts that you saw Jim wearing, it's up there. And I think that we'll probably start to migrate some of the old shirts, the classic shirts, over to the new one. There's a bunch of shirts on there that I want that aren't there. So yeah, so we're working on all that stuff, and yeah. So Spring kind of, we're moving away from Spring and we're moving towards this new company. So anyway, guys, I've been busy. We had the Super Strat workshop. That was a lot of fun. Lots of stuff with Floyd's that are very different from a regular guitar, as y'all well know. Fitz sent me a thing and he's like, I really want to come out and build another guitar. And I'm like, yeah, cool, man. But I think you're going to want a Floyd this time. And I think he is going to want a Floyd this time. So getting the nut shelf exactly right is the tricky bit. Especially, it's not a big deal if you have to like add 10 thousandths. It's the taking away 10 or 20 thousandths. If you have a regular nut, your locking nut, and it needs to come up, you just kind of loosen the screws and slide some shim stock in there. Floyd actually even makes shim stock, and it's a fairly straightforward proposition. If you need to remove material, it's kind of a bummer because you gotta pull the lock nut off, you gotta grind down, and then you gotta put it back on. We tried to do as per the Floyd recommendation, which is to, you guys are gonna think I'm crazy, but the Floyd recommendation is to actually theirs is to put strings on it, and I'm like, nah, I'm not doing that, and then use a feeler gauge. But if you have a surrogate string, like a hard piece of, like a ruler or something that's thin enough to fit inside the string guide for the Floyd locking nut, then you can get a feeler gauge in between the fret and that surrogate string or ruler. And then you can actually tell. The problem with using a feeler gauge and a string is the string moves up and down. And man, I still get people who tell me that my devotion to the Stuart McDonald gauge is and I know guys who do this, yada yada yada, and that's cool. But yeah, the fact of the matter is, I can always get the same results using that tool. I don't think that you can get the same results using a feeler gauge and a string, because the string has just too much movement. But you guys already know that. So yeah, maybe I'm not verbalizing it to people who aren't you guys. Are there any no, what's that? Buffering. Oh my goodness. Well, guys, I don't know what to do about the buffering. That's a bummer. Are you getting buffering, Joy? You got buffering, huh?
Just I had
one little blip of buffering. Well, I'm going to keep going as though it's Godo. Okay, so Jay Valenti says that Godo.
No, this is NSJ.
Oh, NSJ guitars, not Jay Valenti. Maybe Jay Valenti. I don't know. He might think the same thing. But yeah, okay, here's the other thing about the actual legit Floyds that we use for this workshop. They don't come with nuts. You got to order those. So you got to order Floyd, and you got to order the nut, and you got to. The other thing is that you can adjust the radius at the bridge. You cannot adjust the radius at the nut. So you really do need to know what your radius is at both the nut and the saddle to order the right bridge. Now, if you've got a straight, say, 10-inch radius, it's no big shake. You need a 10-inch nut and you need a 10-inch bridge. All the Floyds come set up for 10. The nuts come in different radiuses, but the bridges are all 10. And then you can shim them out after that. Now, the real problem is if you have like 12, you're probably not going to notice a whole lot. But if the real problem comes in when you are you have a 10-inch radius at the nut and a 16-inch radius at the 22nd, say, fret, and then whatever it is at the bridge, because it's a little further back, 18, 19, 20 inch, you're going to have to shim out your bridge to get that to work correctly. But that's outside the purview of this, unless you guys have questions about that. So Eric wants to know, can you do a visual side-by-side of the C and JJJ V to C neck in a future show? Yeah, I mean, I think that I could. I'd have to have a couple of them though. As of right now, I only have the C's. I don't have any V to C's that anyone has ordered lately. So it might be easier for me to actually draw that out one day and show you than it is to show you on a neck, because frankly, Eric, you probably wouldn't be able to see it if I had like two of the same necks, just because camera angles and stuff like that. If you're kind of on the fence and you can't decide which one you want, I would say go with the C. Not because the V to C isn't cool, but because on the Challenger next, or on the 24 3/4 next, the V to C isn't like fatter, more hand filling. It's just V to C shaped. It's a little thicker than the regular C, but not by much. It's just a shape thing. On the Strats, it's a little closer to the JJJ one. You got to remember that on those necks, at the first fret, it's almost an inch thick, but because of the V profile, it feels a lot. It feels a lot slimmer because there's not a lot of meat where your hand is. So, but I think for a contemporary guitar, if you're used to a contemporary guitar, I would just go with the standard C. That's pretty much the easiest one to go with, and that's the one I recommend too. So, Doc, who has been working on a left-handed, he said that you'd think that making a left-handed guitar would be right. You just got to remember that everything's upside down, and I think I know Doc has a pin router. I know it's just like mine, and I know that everything on a pin router is upside down. So everything when you're making a left-handed guitar is actually looks right side up, even though it's actually upside down. And so yeah, doing that is a tricky thing. You just got to remember. Here's where I always get it wrong, Doc. I always put the side dots on the wrong side. So yeah, that's a bummer. Are there any other questions that are coming in, Miss Joy?
Just answered one for
Doc just answered one. Okay, good. That makes my life a lot easier. I can just sit around. I am going to have a video on the as you can see, there's still blue tape where the pickup is, essentially holding the neck pickup in. I have ordered a red cover for the neck pickup, even though I think the white one looks cool, but I've ordered a red cover for the neck pickup so that it matches the bridge pickup. And I think that will look cool. Did I tell you guys that that's a Maverick? That guitar is going to be sold as a Maverick because it has a few finish blems that I'm not 100%. It's not a first guitar. Plus, it's a class guitar, so class guitars always. Well, there's only 5 days to do them, so there is a. I don't know if you can see it. Let's see. No, it's right. It's right by the strap button. Can you see it there? Okay. So there's a finish blem there, and there's also a little right here where the neck is. There's a little chip, and it's actually we didn't see it until it got black paint. Normally, what we would do is we would fill that in and paint it, redo the headstock, and that would be that. Or we would fill in this. We'd fill this in too. But I thought, you know what? This is a Maverick guitar. It's a cool guitar. Why don't we let somebody get a good deal on this? And so that's what this will be, and it will probably be up on the website later this week for some kind of deal. And I think that I don't set out to make Mavericks, but sometimes, guys, the Mavericks happen. And for those of you who are just joining us, they might not know what I mean when I say a Maverick. Any guitar that has a finish problem, we sell as what we call a Maverick. So it's just a way to, it's not always worth it to take the guitar apart, repaint everything and redo everything. It's easier to just, kind of take a little bit of a loss on it and somebody gets a good deal. And I like that. Somebody gets a good deal. So yeah, there's absolutely nothing wrong with the guitar in terms of playability. It's stuff that it's what it is it's sort of like, well, it's as close to a relic as we're ever going to make. And it's not done intentionally. So
Lori wants to know, are all the SG classes full, and could an SG EB6 bass happen?
Loring wants to know if all the SG classes are full. There's a handful of spots, Loring. And could you do an EBS 6-string bass? No, we can't do a bass. Everything, no. Unfortunately, we wouldn't be able to do a bass. But you could come and do a regular 24 3/4 scale guitar, and that would be fun too. But as of right now, as of 2025, there's no way we can do a bass in that workshop. I apologize. So
Jay would like to know, when are we going to reveal all the new prostitutes? A weird comment, anywhere but here.
Jay wants to know when we're going to reveal the new prostitutes. Okay, so Jay, as you probably know, because you're a Patreon member, there are some Patreon guitars happening. Revealing the new prostitutes. There are so many of those shaped guitars floating around the shop, and some of them are even going to be getting into paint here in not too long. But there's a lot more work to do to a lot of them. And there's all the advanced work that I have to do for the classes in May, which are like right around the corner. I don't know if you guys know this, but the SG workshop, Ultimate SG workshop, it sold out right away. And here's what happens. Sometimes someone will go, hey, I want one of those classes, send me an invoice for it. So I'll send them an invoice and I'll forget to alter the website inventory to be one less. So what happens then is that then I sell out a class that's supposed to be limited to 6. I sell out, there's 7 people. So now I have 7 people who, came to the thing. And then another guy shows up and I'm like, oh no, there's way too many people for me to do in one week workshop. So that happened this time. And so what we ended up doing is I called everybody. I'm like, hey, is there any way anybody can do another one of these workshops some other week. And so what we landed on was Monday, whatever it is, the first Monday of the month. And then the only week everybody else could do a different one was the second Monday of the month. So we're going to have an Ultimate SG workshop on the first week of the month and the second week of the month. And then on the Saturday after the second workshop, I have to get on a plane and fly to the Chicagoland area. So it's just going to be a crazy week. So I've got to get all the advanced work done like in the next couple of weeks, because there's no time. There won't be any time to do any more advanced work in between classes. I've just got to get it all done for both. So, so that's what's going on with that. But Jay, you will probably see some of the paint work on those guitars here coming up pretty soon. Pretty soon, Senor. Let's talk a little bit about Dylan's Teimu guitar. So, as you guys probably know, Dylan is a very good friend of mine and a good friend of the shop. And we always love it when Dylan comes out and hangs out with us, or, we go to guitar shows with Dylan and stuff like that. And I think that, and I don't know exactly why Dylan ordered this, but I think that if I were to call him right now, he would say, I just wanted to see like how good or how bad it was. Oftentimes you get people that see that low price and go, how bad can it be? It's a Gibson, it's a Gibson shaped thing. Maybe it's pretty good. Maybe I can fix it up. Maybe I can do whatever. So I think he just bought it so you didn't have to. And as it turns out, it looks like it sounds to me like it was not going to be worth it to fix it up. I got to say, I actually thought that the notion of ordering a Teimu guitar was a terrific idea. I thought that was a great idea. And I've seen like some like knockoff Gibsons, and they're like Les Paul shaped things, and they're generally speaking fairly terrible because they're they're $300 guitars, or they're $100 guitars, or they're whatever dollar guitars. Now, having said that, you guys know that there are way more 1959 Les Pauls today than there were in 1960, right? I think that if you paid someone in another country that wasn't worried about, the ramifications of doing something like a counterfeit 59 Les Paul, and they really wanted to make it exactly like a 59 Les Paul, they could probably do it. If you were willing to pay. Now, you're not going to get that for $300. You know what I mean? If it costs a quarter or a half or $750,000 for a 59 Les Paul, I would imagine if you had $50,000 to spend on one, you could make a counterfeit one that could fool just about anybody. And there are places all over the world that could probably do that. And there are places all over the world that probably do that, whether it's with, 59 Les Pauls or Louis Vuitton purses. I don't know. So, but I don't think that the stuff that they sell on Teimu obviously is not that. And it turns out that what Dylan got was definitely not going to fool anybody into thinking it was the genuine article. And so I applaud that. I don't, maybe he did that. I do all kinds of stuff for clickbait stuff. Maybe Dylan did that stuff maybe he did that to get views. That's why we're here. You know what I mean? We're here. We're making videos because we want you guys to watch them. Not because, we want to make somebody look bad or do anything like that. My most popular video has a clickbait title, and it's, if you don't paint your guitar like this, you're stupid. And I still get people who like bellyache and whine about that title and like how I hate clickbait stuff. And I'm thinking to myself, well, hate the game, not the player. I mean, you wouldn't have watched it if I said, "Hey guys, here's how we paint a guitar." Like, who's gonna like? There's a gazillion of those. So, the reason that that video has so many views is because it's got that ridiculous title. And at no point do we say in the video you're stupid or anything like that. But oh man, I get a bunch of hate mail from people like that who think that I don't know what they think. But and I get it. Yeah. If clickbait didn't work, then we wouldn't use it. Okay. But clickbait does work. And frankly, I think that, you guys like to watch, not you guys, but people on YouTube want to watch car wrecks. They want to watch guys getting hit in the nuts. They want to watch, crappy guitars and people talk bad about them or say how good they are or whatever. It's a kooky thing. I don't understand it, but that's what people want to watch. And so that's what content creators make. And yeah, Joy says, and she's right. Sometimes stuff can just be funny, and that's, that's fine too. So the other thing is, if you guys stop watching, they'll stop making those. And so, yeah, it's like advertising, right? If you just don't look at it, then they'll stop doing it. Those awful Little Caesars commercials for with the goat on the, oh my God, it's terrible for that stupid pretzel thing. Anyway. Okay. And by the way, you guys should never eat Little Caesars pizza. I think the last time I had that was many, many years ago. Chris and I went and got one. It was so awful. It was so bad. I am a pizza. I'm not a pizza snob. Maybe I am. But I love pizza and I hate that. I don't think there's any food in that food. So yeah, maybe I'll have pizza tonight. That sounds good. Okay. I don't like little greasers. Yeah. And Lefty says he doesn't like them either. Quality. So well, let's talk about fixing Dylan's. I said fixing Dylan's Chibson. Dylan has not reached out to me that, hey, will you fix this? Because he knows that I don't have time to do it and I wouldn't do it. And I think he's going to send it back to somebody or another. I can't remember what the story is, but can you imagine, like, if you, let's say you bought one of those, if you have all the stuff and all the knowledge of a guitar repair person, you could probably do it. But at the end of the day, would it really be worth it? I don't think there's enough lipstick for that pig. Replacing everything. I think that if you did all that stuff, it would be just as easy to just build a Les Paul Jr. style guitar. And man, I love that shape. I love that, whether it's a Gibson or a Hamer or any of the other people that have made that junior shape. Maybe not Daisy Rock, but I don't have any problem with Daisy Rock. I just never had one. So yeah, it's that's a great shape. I think you would be, if you had all the tools and all the know-how necessary to bring that guitar up to speed, you would be able to just buy a neck blank and a body blank and just build that guitar. So, and it would be easier to do. And at the end of it, you'd have something really neat versus something that kind of looked like a Gibson and was fixed up. So anyway, so I want to also talk about, so we will not be fixing Dylan's guitar. As you guys know, you watched his thing. He's going to send that back. The other thing that I want to talk about is something I'm going to start tomorrow. I don't know what time I'm going to start it, but I have a sneaking suspicion it's going to be 10 a.m. Mountain Time tomorrow. We're going to start this thing and we're going to do a video every day, a live video every day, starting at 10 o'clock. It's probably going to be 10 o'clock every day. And we're going to discuss what the best guitar for this much money is, or for this purpose, or if you could only have this, if you could have any guitar in the world, or blah, blah, blah. Now, don't start writing down in the comment section what you would do if I ask that question. Please wait until the video it's going to be Chris and myself, or at the very least me. I think Chris might take some time off this week. We generally take a little bit of time off after classes. I don't know what his plan is, but so it will be Chris and I if Chris is here, or it will be just me if Chris takes the day off, to do errands and stuff. And we're going to talk about things like the best guitar for $250, the best guitar for under $500, under $750, under $1,000, the best guitar at any price. If you could only have, one guitar, what would it be? If you could have any guitar, what would it be? Blah, 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 blah. Again, don't tell me in the section here in the chat. We want to save that for next week, and we're going to do a video every day. I think tomorrow's video is going to be what's the best guitar for $250 or less, or maybe $500 or less. I don't know. So I want you guys to think about it. Now, a couple of things. I'm not going to be reviewing used guitar. I'm not going to be talking about used guitars. I want you guys to tell me, you got to be able to go to Flipside or go to Wildwood or go to Casino or go to, heaven forbid, Guitar Center or somewhere like that and buy it. It's got to be a current production thing that you can just go get. And what's the best? And we're going to give you a price ceiling. And now the price isn't going to include tax. It's not going to include shipping. So don't worry about that. But the first one's going to be, I don't know that we need to have like the best guitar for under $250. That seems like a dumb one. So tomorrow's video is going to be the best guitar for $500 or less. Again, don't tell me here, because if you do, I'm not going to read it now. I want to read it during the live video tomorrow. Those videos are going to be, hopefully they're not going to be ridiculously long. I'd like for them to be about 15 minutes. And I'll tell you what my pick is. Chris will tell you what his pick is, and then we'll take some of your comments. And so that's going to be something that we do every day for as long as it takes to get through all the little categories I have in my tiny brain. And I'm hoping that you guys have some time to play along with that. I think that'll be fun. For those of you who are Patreon members who are waiting patiently for more neck through SG updates, that's coming this week. There will be another one of my live Q&As for the Patreon training this weekend. I'm going to try to get to New Mexico some point before it gets too hot. I don't know when that's going to be, but this weekend I am going to be doing a live video from somewhere talking about the Patreon project for the neck through guitar. If you guys are not signed up for Patreon, or if you're not a YouTube member, you can do like the YouTube thing. All that content is available to you, and you can watch as many times as you want. And there's so really even anybody at the lowest level can watch all those videos and build along at home. Like I said before, the first one, it's only going to be, whatever level you want. The next ones are going to be, it's going to cost more to do it because it's a big project.
What time do you think you're going to do those videos this week?
I'm thinking 10 o'clock Mountain Time for the week, the daily videos starting tomorrow. Did somebody ask what time? Okay. As for the Patreon video that's coming out this week, I don't know what time or what day that's going to happen. But again, you know how it is, guys. I was busy all week last week, and so getting it all done is going to be something that I'm going to be playing catch up on, stuff like email and stuff like phone calls and stuff like SG builds and icon builds. Chris has so many really cool guitars over there that are getting really good, really close to being done, and really cool finishes, and they're really excellent. I am also going to be running up to see the guys at Wildwood again. Let me ask you guys this. So more than a week ago, I took a guitar up to Wildwood, and I talked with all the guys from Wildwood. I talked to Greg, and I talked to Steve, and they're like, "Can you leave the guitar with us?" Now, this was not my plan. My intentions were not to go to Wildwood and go, "Hey, do you want to just keep the guitar for a little while?" But Greg said, "I would like for everybody in the shop to play this. Can you leave it?" And again, I'm like, well, Greg, I really didn't want to leave it. I kind of want to put it up on my website for sale. But I tell you what, if you promise me that it will come out of the case and get played, because guys, I'll put my guitars up against anybody's. If you can promise me that it will get played and come out of the case and get played, then yes, I'll leave it up there. And I told them, look, I've got a workshop going on, and I really like for the guys from Wildwood and the guys from Casino to come down and do a class with us. So I won't be able to come get it until a week from when I dropped it off last Friday. Anyway, I haven't heard anything back from the guys at Wildwood. Now, I take that as a pretty good sign. I haven't logged onto their website. I doubt that what they've done is put it up there, but they did ask me how much, it would cost and what the map price on it would be. And it was a really nice one. It had a killer flame maple top. It had binding. It had block inlays. It had a bunch of cool stuff. And I would imagine that what will happen is the guys at Wildwood are probably going to say this. Let me know what you guys think. I think what they'll say is, hey, we really like this. Why don't you let us put it on our website? Let us pay you for it, and we want 4 more. The reason I say that is because that's kind of the buy-in right now is 5 guitars. Can we order some more? Can we get 4 more as close to this or just like it? And at which point I will say, now I'm buffering. Dang it. Okay. I don't know how much stuff you guys missed, but I am going to be taking up the gold, the black gold, the Texas T Sunday driver up there to show those guys that. I really want to take stuff up to the guys at Wildwood every time we get something done and have them take a look at it. So if you guys are calling Wildwood and saying, hey, do you have Texas Toast? As of right now, they'll be able to say that they do. So anyway, let's see. It's not what you're called that matters. It's what you answer to. It's a good one. Laura is here, and Amanda is here. I think we're just about ready to wrap this up. Doc, I think that's exactly what's going to happen too. Joe says he's been playing his TTG 24 fret Telly quite a bit lately. Joe, I remember that guitar. And I remember, could you send me a picture of that though? Because I know you want another one that's got some different stuff. I remember that guitar, but I don't remember exactly specifically about it. And yours was one of the emails that I needed to get back to, Joe. But could you send me an email picture of what your guitar looks like, my friend? Because I haven't forgotten, but I haven't exactly like a steel trap memory of exactly what it looks like. So, Chris says he just looked up the Cobb Dog on Texas Top. Hi, Chris. He's here. So yeah, anyway, gang, let's go ahead and call it a night. I've got stuff that I've got to do. Oh my gosh. Taxes are this week too. Ugh. Oh, that's a bummer. Joe looks like he sent me an email and said, I'll send you a whole spec picture. Oh, that would be great, Joe. That would be really, really terrific. Doc wants to know truss rod jig ETA. Well, Doc, how about 30 days or less? I hope. We'll find out. Let's see what we can come up with. How about this? I would like for it to be 30 days or less, and I'm going to work on that. Remember, though, I've got advanced work for the SG workshop to do. I've got 2 back-to-back SG workshops to do. And then I'm flying to Chicago for the pizza and hot dog eating contest that I'm going to out there. That's going to be fun. I think I'm going to put on like 25 pounds over the course of one weekend for that. Isn't that right, Joy? Mm-hmm. All right, gang, let's go ahead and wrap it up. We will see you tomorrow at 10 o'clock Mountain Time for our first video in our daily video series, What's the Best Guitar? And tomorrow's topic is going to be what's the best guitar for $500 or less. We'll see you guys tomorrow for that. Don't put it in the comment section here. Save it for tomorrow, and we will see you then. Have a great night, everybody, and we'll talk to you tomorrow. The buffering.